Holy shit, we're back. It's Footy and Frothies 2025. And look who the fuck we found. Both of you nerds. We've got Barney back for the Bold Prediction Show. We're going to kick off with the 2025 Bold Prediction Show. We usually finish the year this way, but gosh darn, we may as well start it when everyone's forgotten about footy. Barney's back. First of all, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, very well, thank you, mate.
Looking well?
And yourself?
Am I?
Yes.
Thanks. That's lovely.
Well, last time I saw you were halfway dead, so...
Oh, yeah, there's that. Yeah, let's give it time. What's news? How was Chrissy? New Year's? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody out there. That was fantastic, man. Obviously got the new addition to the family, 5 months old now. He's absolutely killing it and loving life, so he brings a whole new flavour to Christmas. The 6-year-old lunatic running around. Oh, that was a story. Went away a couple of days up to Terrigal and... tried to do some fishing with a lunatic 6-year-old and a 5-month-old baby. Did not end up very well. I think I got about 3 casts out there. I managed to catch 1 fish, but
yeah, I don't think a 5-month-old and a 6-year-old are the best bait, so that's probably why you didn't have fun fishing with them.
Well, there were some bull sharks up there, so you never know.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, the 6-year-old, every time the prawn hit the bottom of the water, was she caught a fish. So I spent an hour or so retrieving the line and putting new bait on or casting it back out. So that was good.
Got to start somewhere, as
Absolutely.
I did. So her strike rate's still better than mine. And Oliver from Rugby League, in my opinion. It's been a minute too. Ollie, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. How was your Chrissy and New Year's and that sort of thing?
It was pretty boring. Didn't get up to much. I've been working most of the time. This weekend, though, this weekend just gone, I did go to the zoo. And something you mentioned actually brought up a surprising fact to me. And I want to know, is it normal for a zoo, not an aquarium, for a zoo to have sharks? Because I went to the New Sydney Zoo and there's a fucking bull shark. They have a bull shark at the zoo.
I didn't know they had an aquarium there.
Yeah, they have a little aquarium, and then you go to walk out, and there's these stairs up, like going up, and you're like, oh, what's going to be like in here? You think you're just looking at the tank you just looked at downstairs. And a fucking bull shark swam out, and it's like, holy shit!
No,
all right,
yeah, they generally are different things.
you know what? All right, we'll put it
like
out to the lovely people as well.
And a fish zoo.
It is okay. Obviously, you get sharks in an aquarium, right? But
Yeah.
is it normal? Like, do you people think it's normal to see a shark at a zoo? A zoo, I more think land animals. Yes, you have some penguins and stuff. Maybe you have like some fish, like a little aquarium area, but like a whole lot of shark.
I'm pretty sure had dolphins and
Otters or something.
I know
they
they've
sell
got
the
seals.
otters, and
They
still
got
have
seals.
the poor old polar bear, but they used to have at the bottom of the hill. I'm sure that used to be dolphins in there, and they have seals still, and they do a seal show. But no, I have not seen a bull shark at a zoo. Well, I didn't even know, because a lot of those sharks don't last in captivity.
I know the saltwater sharks don't really do
They have
too
the
well, but I
grey
think they're
nurse.
freshwater.
They have the grave nurse at the Sydney Aquarium. I know that.
Yeah.
But
I think they've got a bull shark there as well. I think they've got a couple of sharks at the aquarium, which you'd expect there to be at an aquarium, but at a zoo, there you go.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know there's an aquarium there.
Yeah, scared the living daylights out of me, but it was a pretty cool experience.
What, was just wandering the street?
Well, no, because all right, so it was
sure there was
it was this. So
you had a heads
go
up.
into you go into apparently you do, but I didn't see it. So you go up these stairs and there's this big like pool-looking thing, but the thing is, it's the outskirts of it are very dark, and you can only really see in the middle. And you got like some bass in there or whatever, and it's like okay. And out of the darkness came a fucking bull shark, and I was like, holy shit!
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Barnes saw a bull shark up the coast.
Well, that's what brought it
A few
to my
people
mind.
at Parramatta River have seen a couple as well.
If you're
Oh
lucky.
yeah, they can go both. Hey? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, there you go.
There you go.
All right, well, that's the end of the nature hour.
Well,
so let's
To put it back
Interesting
to
start
rugby
to
league,
a bold prediction show.
it's a shark. You're a shark supporter. There are also tigers there as well, which should be at a zoo, which you'd expect to be at a zoo.
No, well, yeah, that makes sense.
So there you go, and they're your team.
They're miserable, those tigers at that zoo, because they're the ones that carved the same path in the same.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, anyway, yeah. Go.
There was one just in the corner, and
Yeah,
you
they
couldn't
look
really see it
depressed.
too well, but then the rest of them you couldn't see. So
Yeah, but they walk that same. You can see where they've worn the same track out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Unfortunately, I think most animals in zoos are pretty unimpressed in their surroundings. But
capybaras are happy.
yeah,
I
right.
don't know.
fucking wombat was asleep, looked dead.
Well, funny, if you go for a drive up the mountains, you'll see plenty of those. They are asleep on the side of the road. But anyway, it's the Bold Prediction Show. So how this usually works, what we're going to look back at is our 2024 bold predictions and have a look at Trevor's lost. And
What
look
might
at
be
our
coming.
what's coming for what we did last year, what we said, and crown a prognosticator of the year, a very smart judge that made the boldest prediction last year and got it right, as well as make our bold predictions. And none of us have really done a great deal of work for this, to be honest. It's tricky doing it at the start of the year when you haven't thought about footy for a couple of months, but we're going to see how we go. But look at who won and look at what we've got ahead for season 20-25. Now, I guess a bit of housekeeping before we really do start, because we've been going 5 minutes for not much right now. First of all, who's back? Are you going to be back at somewhat regularly for some previews throughout the year? I'm going to be completely honest. For everyone that's followed the show over the last 5 years, I don't think we're going to ever reach the heights of those big, long review shows ever again. But I think if we can either have some thoughts and maybe do a preview every week, especially for showustips.net, be handy enough. But we'll see what we can come up with as we go.
Keen to do a quick rundown, 5-10 minutes on each team or each game over the weekend and do some predictions of what we might think hit the next week.
What about you, Ollie? You going to show your face?
I would definitely love to cameo throughout the season, but I'm not sure how often it'll be. It all depends. I'm a growing boy now. I have commitments, unfortunately, which I previously did not.
You'll do what you're told, Oliver. And Danon, who
Yes, I will.
And best wishes to Danon, who sent through some. He should have joined us, but he's done his back. And all the best to him in his recovery from an errant disc or two. He sounds like he's in a bad spot, but he sent through some thoughts along the way. And he might be hard to beat in this year's competition, but he'll return for some preview shows. And we're now attached to showustips.net. So as we get on, we will be putting previews up there. We'll have Supercoach chat up there. And some thoughts as we go throughout the year. Keen to do our mammoth full season preview in a few weeks at one of our joints.
Have to do some work.
I've got plenty of work to do, but that is the fun one. That is the big one. We put it all out. But after there, we'll have a better idea. We'll have a Supercoach speculation show coming up soon as well, possibly with Cal Keen. Whoever else might be available. Whoever else is available is welcome to join us. Don't care. Some of you will join me, and we'll talk about that. But there'll be some predictions along the way in terms of that as well.
Yeah, I've looked at very little for probably the last 6 months. I have watched most games, probably not as keenly as I had done previously, but still in touch, but a little rusty at the moment.
And, we'll save all that sort of chat for when we get into our season stuff and how it all ended up. Let's get into our bold predictions. To start with, I'm going to run through, I might start from the bottom and just run through some of the predictions we threw out at the end of last year's show. Not team-related, but throughout, and just see if anyone uncovered a polished diamond in the rough as we went. Danon suggested last year, in terms of origin, New South Wales 3-0, with Cleary stamping himself as a proper rep player, but it would lead to Bellamy coaching in 2026 when he moved on from the Storm. Get my sound effects ready. So... practice in. We're not going to do that for everyone this year. Barney, you suggested Madge to completely change the origin side. I think that's a tick, isn't it?
Pretty close.
And you said that Cade Dykes would cement a starting place for the Sharks.
Did not happen.
But that's for the Sharks. And I said it had to be a first big 6 weeks for Teddy if he used to play origin. Look, I guess it was, and he did, but it was ultimately superseded there, so half a mark. Danon suggested Brisbane would beat Roosters in the grand final. GT said Penrith would beat Cronulla, halfway there. Barney said Cronulla would win the comp, and I said Penrith would beat the Roosters as well. Buy of the year. Well, these are all stuff to think about. We'll come back to these at the end for our thoughts. Danon said Tom Flegler. Barney said Tom Flegler. I said Herbie Farnworth, and GT said Stephen Crichton.
The last two are very close.
Very good last ones there. Rookie of the year. You said Oluwapu, who we have not seen.
No, did his ACL, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Officially fit again, though, as of the other day, so we'll probably see him 2025.
Interesting. Danon said Fa'alongo. Barney said Gordon. I don't know who Gordon is. You said Gordon. Yeah, I don't know.
Flash Gordon, the quarterback of the New York Jets.
I said Matamua. And
Gordon Cham Kong Tun, maybe?
I'd say that makes a lot of sense.
Barely played a game.
I said Matamua, who also barely played a game, and you said if he was, I could have your house. So it is safe for now.
And it's a good-looking house now.
It is a good-looking house now. Coach of the year, Barney said Des. Danon said Kevy.
He did some good work, Des.
I said Robbo, and GT said Fitzgibbon. So all right of the swung and missed there. GT, first coach sacked, said Seraldo. I said Ricky or Seraldo. Danon said Seabold, but please, Arthur. Maybe Peyton's. Well,
It
he
was
got his
Arthur,
wish.
wasn't it?
And Barney said Ricky. Leading try scorer, Greg said Munro. You and Danon said Mulatalo, and I said Jesse Arthurs.
Multalo would have gone close if he'd stayed on the field.
And Wooden Spoon, GT, Tigers. First correct one of the day. There we go. Dane and Dogs, Barney Raiders from Dogs or Dragons, and I said Dolphins a chance, but probably Dragons. Dally M. Danon said, oh, we'll save that one.
Okay.
I said Teddy, you said Cleary. GT said Cleary, Barney said Nico or Sean Johnson.
Wow.
The breakout star of the year, Barney, Lucas, D. GT, Talon Duncan or Hazelton. I said Plath or Fayalongo, and Danon said Wirimu, Greg. In terms of them, who's the breakout star of last year? We did discuss Rookie of the Year too, but we said also it was a bit tricky, and no one saw Lockie Galvin coming. But would you have? I think everyone there was Hazelton, Plath were all serviceable.
Hazelton was good. Plath was good. Yeah, no. It probably has to be Galvin. I would imagine.
Well, Rookie of the Year / breakout star maybe. You'd probably Jerome Luai maybe the breakout star of the year.
That thought actually went through my head, but I'm not sure.
Well, no one predicted it. It's just
in the traditional sense, no, but yes.
From where we rated him 12 months, and it's funny listening back to this last year's show today, where we rated him. Incredible turnaround. Anyway, team by team, our bold predictions. We'll run through team by team from last year as well, but who wants to do the honours and pull a team out first?
We have South Sydney.
South Sydney. All right, last year, this is what we had to say. I'll tell you in a minute. There it is. Gump said Demetrio would be the first coach sacked. Damo said they'd make the top 4. I said that Jack White and Dally-M Team of the Year, 10 tries and 12 assists. And that Tallis Duncan would be in the extended New South Wales team as a shadow player. I don't think that happened. Was he somewhere around there? I
It's close.
feel like he was like it. Anyway. GT said that Tallis Duncan would be a staple in the squad a year, and Tyson Munro, is that his name?
Tyrone
Munro would be the top scorer for the entire competition. Danon said top 4, and Latrell would win the Dally M, but would win enough points to win Dally M, but suspension would cost him the actual award. Barney, you said Keon Kolamatangi, second row of the year. They'll finish 10th or lower. Yeah, did they finish 10th?
They finished second last.
Yes, good. Sorry, it's been a long time. Tallis Duncan will end up with a starting spot, correct? You said Jack White ended up having a bludger of a season. So how would you rate that?
Big part of it was.
Yeah.
He came good at the back end of the year, but for 3/4 of the year he struggled.
And that Demetrio would sack all his assistants and start again. Well, he got the arse himself.
He got sacked first.
And that
The
Cody
reverse.
Walker and Latrell Mitchell would punch on Mad Monday.
We don't know for sure that that's not true.
Unconfirmed.
Confirmed. So overall, largely a swing and a miss from those predictions. Right, online, Isaac has said that the Souths are the best smoky for the top 4. And now this isn't our proper prediction show; it's our bold prediction show. So we're throwing some stuff out there. Who wants to go first? Ollie.
I'll go first. I've got South's top 4 under Wayne Bennett, and
Sorry, there's a reflex.
12 months too early. But
so to back this up as well, I've got a stat since I think either 2020 or 2021. I think the last 4 seasons, a team that finished in the bottom 4 finished in the top 8 the season after. In 3 out of those 4 seasons, that team finished in the top 4. So
There you go. And you think Souths are the one?
So, well, I mean, compare them to the Titans, Tigers and Eels, yeah, I think they are the one. And once Latrell returns, he won't get injured or suspended for the rest of the season. Now, on the surface, that doesn't sound bold, but I'm pretty sure he's gotten injured or suspended at some point during every year since going to South Sydney. Yeah.
And have a good year as a result?
I wouldn't necessarily go... Well, you'd think if they're making the top 4, then yes. Wayne Bennett gives him the cuddle, puts the arm around him, so to speak, and makes him feel comfortable in his shoes playing footy again. So I'll say the majority of the season at least, yes, he has a good year, but for the official bowl prediction, he just essentially doesn't miss another game for Souths unless it's through Origin selection for the rest of the season.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to say Latrell stays fit. I think Bennett gets the best out of him. I think the news is he's already slimmed down, but I'm going to say Dally fullback of the year is Latrell Mitchell, and he has a big year at fullback. I don't know if I'm as confident about them being in the top 4. I think Cody Walker struggles to see the season out. Almost gets replaced in the halves. I know they've got Lewis Dodd coming in, but I can't. Yeah, we'll just leave that as a prediction. And I think that hopefully, as much as a fingers crossed thing, Ewan Aitken's legs stay attached all year, and he plays a full season and is back in Origin contention come June, July. Barney, what have you got for us? Come on.
All right. Well, I think Mamazelos will cement himself in that 9 position. Obviously, there's not a lot of competition there, but I think he'll be one of the better 9s running around by the end of next season.
Okay.
I think they're going to struggle in the halves. I'm really concerned if they make the 8, to be honest. I think Latrell...
I don't have them in the 8.
Latrell will drag them out of a lot of games and get them into winning positions, whether they actually are able to finish those games. You've now seen some injury for the likes of Murray, who's spent a lot of time on the sidelines over the last 12 months, and I wouldn't be surprised if that continues. But for mine, the halves for South Sydney really are going to be a big problem, especially through the middle of the season. And I can see them maybe just scraping into the bottom of the 8. But I'll say they're going to miss the 8.
I felt the same as you. Dane, and his prediction for South was they miss the 8 too. We've seen with English halves, and obviously this is, I was trying to keep this away from being an analyst show, but it always takes half a season for them to sort of find their pace and rhythm in NRL. And I think Lewis Dodd's going to have a big microscope on him, hard to get going, especially when different if Cody Walker was 32. But now, I'd argue he should have been in team half of last year. But, I agree with you.
And Schuster, I think, will find his way out of another NRL side before the end of the season.
Forgot about him. Yeah, no. You got anything else on South, or should we move on?
Let's move on.
Now take your name and number from there.
The Tigers.
The Tigers up second. All righty. So last year for the Tigers, Jack, son, my brother, predicted them top 15. Action Bailey and Kenny B top 8. GT predicted they would win at least 2 games where they are outsiders of more than $4.50. I haven't gone back and looked at that.
I'd say you would have got those for sure.
One of them was
100%.
Cronulla. When we watched it here, they beat Cronulla when they were undefeated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so one definitely.
100%.
Surely another one's happened. Yeah.
GT is on the board. Well done. I'm going to highlight that so when we come back to it. Barney predicted that Caesar will be dropped before the end of the season, and this is his first year, and absolutely, Barn, well done. Bateman will be the first man in every fight. Pretty close. And at one game, he will threaten to fight 13 players at once.
Yeah, his own teammates.
Now, the way it ended up, but wasn't there that game either at Canberra or the Roosters where he was just in a mood and did try to fight?
He picked about 7 fights in one game.
There was games. So I'm going to give you a point for that. We are highlighting... I've got 2 sound effects. I haven't updated my sound effect. Anyway, Tick, Barn, well done. Benji will end up at a mental institute. Papa players player. And Blore, Nofaluma, and Stefano should all be moved on by the season's end.
To Melbourne.
Actually. So three ticks there for Barn to come back to. I said Scott Fulton won't make it to round 2. Well, that was correct. Appy, captain of the year. And Josh Adokar will be the leading try scorer after he gets swapped with the Dogs for Sean Blore. Danon said, now Luke Brooks is gone, Tigers will make the 8. And Ollie said that Pascoe will resign and the whole board will step down before the end of 2025. Fade that out, but Ollie has made a big, and at that time, this was a very bold prediction. You know, talk us through it, and you've taken the lead. You've hit the front.
All I will
Unless
say,
Barney's three at once count.
all I will say,
What are you saying?
first of all, on last year's bold prediction show, when I sent that one in, Barney mercilessly gave it to me and said that there's no way that prediction would come true by the end of 2024. Well, it came true before the 2024 season even started.
Yeah.
They dissolved the entire board. Shane Richardson came in. It was just one of those things where I remember back when Parramatta won their couple of wooden spoons in a row and they were down in the dump, and the exact same thing happened to them eventually, because for a couple of years you were hearing the board this, the board that, rah, rah, and it's like, well, eventually you can sack so many coaches, you can make as many roster changes as you want, but if people are still talking about the board, the same thing for so long, eventually...
Well, that's when Fitzgerald went, wasn't it?
Something's got to change eventually. So I always saw that as sort of the end game for the Tigers, where, well, they've won 3 wooden spoons in a row now. They've changed coaches, they've changed key players, everything like that. You've done as much as you can, and at some point you've got to look within, and that's the board. They've got to look at themselves and sort of, well, this isn't working out, and apparently they came to that conclusion a lot earlier than even I thought they would. So there we go.
Well, Ollie, you're now the pride of Jenny. You're 6 legs in front. We're just in the back straight, but you're in front for your second consecutive title, if you pull this one off. Tyson wrote in and said, Luai will get injured and the Tigers will run 9th. We try not to predict too many injuries, but sackings and shit are fine. I'll go first. I'm going to throw it out. Let's get bold enough early. And I'm going to leave you the last unless you say otherwise, Barn, because I assume you're thinking on the fly. Or is happy for me just to throw you?
Listening.
Dally M medalist 2025, Jerome Luai, my new favourite player. And I'm going to say at least 2 other players make the Dally M team of the year. I suspect some combination of Fainu, May, or Justin Olam. Something like that. Let's go bold.
I suspect some combination of players who don't play for the Tigers. Anyway.
And I'm going to also suggest Benji is in the top in the nominations for Coach of the Year. There you go. Let's go positive.
Anyone who's just heard that, just go back to 2023 on the Footy and Frothies archive and listen around State of Origin time in 2023 what this man had to say about Jerome Luai.
Yes,
continue.
But it's all roses right now. So let's be positive to start 25. Ollie.
I'll be positive too, and I do see this as a positive. I think they avoid the bottom 4. And I will say this is very specific. They will be in the top 8 after 7 rounds. Off air earlier, we were talking about how the Tigers have a decent draw to start the season. I think after 7 rounds, the reason why I say 7 rounds is I looked at all their games and I was thinking, where will the drop-off come afterwards? Because I don't think they make the top 8. And I think after round 7, they will be in the top 8 and then drop off after that. But still, for the Tigers, that's pretty good.
Barn.
I'll go even further. I'll say you'd be looking about 3/4 of the way through the year and they'll be in and around the bottom of the 8. I think they may even be towards the top end of the ladder in that first 6 or 7 weeks of the year. I think you're going to see some of a bit of injuries in that forward pack, because the depth in that forward pack really worries me for the Tigers, and I think you might just see at the back end of the year with some, the grind gets to some of these older forwards that are in and around those ranks, and they just drop away at the back end of the year. But I wouldn't be surprised if they finish around 9th, 10th, looking very close to that top 8 position. There was someone there that...
On top of that, I just thought of this. Yep. I'm going to throw out Alex Seyfarth to average 60 in Supercoach.
Right.
And I've got a few little Supercoach ones in there, but I don't think it's something to say. But there you go. I'll throw one out there. Go on. Where else are you going?
I think Dewey will leave the Tigers. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure he gets any opportunity anywhere near the halves at the moment, to be honest.
No, it'll be centre or nowhere.
That's where he wants to be.
Will for Hull FC.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see him pop up somewhere up north, to be honest, sniffing around in the second halves position. But
Hull is in the north of England, so
very north. Yeah, right.
Well, just to throw something into the back of your brains, our man Steve Chester has informed me Roosters still have 4 roster spots, and I noticed today Melbourne still have 3 to 4 roster spots as well, which is not saying Dewey's going there, but it's very interesting that they're keeping that open. But anyway.
Correct. I don't think Buller will be the fullback by the end of the season, and
Tito.
Yeah.
Taruva.
Yeah,
Right.
it would not surprise me at all if Taruva ends up there. And he was the next one. He'll be the top try scorer for the Tigers by a fair margin, I would imagine.
Very good. Anything else for the Tigers?
nothing else for the Tigers.
The Bulldogs have come out next. So last year, Trev Smith, good friend of the show, hope he's doing well. Ciraldo to be sacked and replaced by Jason Taylor. The Beaver said Carraz will play for New South Wales. Andrew Parkhurst said top 4. Oh, not that one. GT, Stephen Crichton would win the Daggy M medal. I'd love to tell you, GT, who won Daggy M medal, but you haven't fucking told us who did. Danon, Ciraldo first coach sacked and Dogs wooden spoon. I said on the back row of Kickout, Preston and Jay Curran, who at that stage hadn't left the Warriors, they get dragged all the way to 12th. But I got the Jay Curran part right. Barney, Sherry, starting side by round 4. Preston, a top-tier second rower. Well, I suppose he is. He's all right. Blake Taff will be the full-time fullback and Crichton the full-time 5'8" by halfway through the season. And Sexton will be the one that misses out. And Olu will be a full-time top 17 and rookie of the year. Unfortunately, we never got to see that transpire. Gump said Oluwapu will be the lock by the end of 2024. All right, who wants to go first?
All right. Speaking of Carl Oluwapu, I will say he will lock down the halfback position by the end of 2025 now that he's fit. And I will say Stephen Crichton to start at least 10 games at fullback for the Bulldogs.
Wow. Okay.
It's a bold prediction.
It's got to be bold.
It's bold.
You're right.
I was thinking,
It's
how
funny
can I
because
be bold?
Oluwapu was popped up so much when I did all last year's notes, and I'd forgotten all about him, to be honest. But isn't this game very much out of sight, out of mind? Barney, you got anything?
Not really. Samuel Hughes will cement himself as a front rower. Like he went leaps and bounds last year, and I expect him to continue with what he did and even improve on what he was doing last year, which was up near top 10 stuff that he was doing. I've got a funny feeling Matt Burton might fall off the face of the earth for a little bit. It's probably not going to be all season, but I think he'll have a spell probably just before Origin time. There'll be 4 or 5 weeks where he's just unseen and, people talking about him being dropped, and then he'll come back and absolutely destroy it as he does. I can't see Crichton taking the number 1 fullback and Daggy's love affair with Connor Tracy. I think that continues. I don't see why there'd be any reason for him to be shifted out of that position from what he did last year. He was fantastic last year, and I think it'll continue again this year.
Well, let's go. You know where I'm going with this. Connor Tracy will be the Supercoach breakout star of the year. And to average 75, 80 plus, nail down. And he's dual at the moment. But
I think the Dogs will finish top 6 as well. I'll put him in top 6.
Because we're coming here, what I should do for every team, I'll ask that question now going forward, because where they'll finish.
Oh, yeah.
This is all with no research, and then we do our big drunk night. We will allegedly have done research by then. Supercoach Star of the Year, Connor Tracy, to the point where he will be an Origin shadow player this year, potentially as a number 20, but cover the Matt Burton spot. Mm-hmm. What a player! Jake Raz will play Origin this year, and Blake Wilson will be their leading try scorer, which is bold because at the moment, with Montoya coming, apparently he might not be in the team, but surely Blake Wilson.
I think Blake Wilson is the best winger at the Bulldogs right now.
Am I mad? Yeah. Well, Carraz is, but am I? Well, unless he's a centre or a fullback. But am I mad in thinking that Blake Wilson
It's got so much more
is
pace
better
than
than
Montoya.
Montoya. Yeah.
Montoya's got the physicality, but yeah.
All right. We'll yep. Dogs top 8.
Top 6 for me, yeah.
Top 6.
Top 6 sounds fair to me too. Barn, back to you, my son.
Who have we got here? We have the show scribbled out Dragons.
Shit. St George, right? Where are we? All right. Barney last year said Sully and Sloan will be gone by the end of the year. Sione Faina will very quickly be in the top 17. You're right, but you're the wrong club. Murdoch, Masilla, and Molo to leave. Are they both gone?
Believe. Or depends which Molo.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, good question.
No,
I think it's
Francis,
Francis.
yeah.
I think it's Francis.
I believe they have both gone.
And Shane Flanagan will reconsider his life decisions.
Yeah.
Danon said no spoon, but will never be contenders for the 8. Well, thanks, Danon. At least 10 players moved on by year end. I reckon that's
Got to have been.
had to be right. I'm going to bold that one as well. Ben Hunt to go before season's end. Did he or not? He tried very hard.
Not before season's end.
He tried his hardest to go, but it was
He
after
went
the
before
season.
he went before
Yeah.
year's end.
GT, Lomax to be dropped to Regis or out of the club by 3/4 of the season.
Oh, that's a double. Give him 2.
I will say at the time though, I don't even necessarily think that was a bold prediction. There was a lot of heat around Zach
He was trying
Lomax.
to go, yeah. And I said Flanagan's first marquee signing would be Angus Crichton or Satili Tupanua. Right, this year, Ollie.
I've got 2 here, and this is the first one where I go a little bit silly with it because it's the Dragons. So, one of the 3 big signings, Gutherson, Cook or Holmes, will play at least one reserve grade game in 2025, and Kyle Flanagan will play the best game of his career whenever they verse Canberra, I guess. And that is exactly what I've written down because who else is he going to have it against?
Barney?
Fatala Mariner probably doesn't see out the season with the Dragons. I don't think he's one of those guys that likes to get into that kind of, the torture that the coach likes to put them through. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Sewer go to lock, to be honest. Again, I'll double down with Sewer. I think he'll be in the top couple of back rowers.
Plays Origin, sure.
Yeah, 100% plays Origin again. And is probably in the top 3 in the Daily M points for back rowers or locks in the competition. Valentine Holmes, top point scorer. That's not very bold, to be honest, because he's going to be kicking goals for him.
For them or the club? The NRL or the club?
I'll just go the NRL because,
Okay, wow.
they will score some tries. I think Ilias probably puts out close to the same sort of stats that Hunt put out.
Yep, okay.
To be honest, because it's going to be all on him. Because we know Flanagan's not one that provides a lot of
Until they verse
plays.
Canberra.
So Ilias with what? We'll go 12 plus try assists and Valentine Holmes top point scorer for the NRL.
I just jerried actually the Ilias sort of Cook connection sort of pre-exists, and there's that sort of short kicking game probably becomes more of a staple of that Dragons team. I'm saying Tyrell Sloan doesn't have a job by the end of the year. We moved on. I know we don't really want to wish out anyone, but I struggle to see where he fits. And conversely, I hope Cody Ramsey scores 12 tries this year.
Absolutely. Hope he comes back fit and firing.
I'm going to say a bold prediction that Cody Ramsey returns to first grade and scores 12 tries. Gutho will top the try assists for the club. I'm going to say he's going to outdo Ilias. But is there any hope for the top 8s, top 15s?
Nope.
Wooden spoons?
If only...
I can't say. I think there's more points in them this year. There's just got a few more blokes that seem to pop up in that when those opportunities do arrive. Hunt would have been better to stay here, I would imagine, to be honest. I think he's flogging a dead horse going back up to Brisbane. I know it's as he says, a family thing where he's going, but I think he would have been in a much better footballing position to stay in this Dragon side with some of the strike that he's got outside him.
And I've only just put this together in mind, but that sort of ruck sniffing around stuff of Gutho and Cook.
Bell
Cook just makes
Holmes,
those breaks, and Gutho's just there. Every time there's a break, and then he's throwing balls to go home. I sat down and thought, you look at it and go, I sort of sit down and look at wooden spoons, and I go, no team with Gutherson, Cook, Sewer should really finish last, should they? And Val.
I don't think Wooden Spoon, I'll put it this way, if they didn't happen to sign the 3 players that I mentioned, funnily enough, then they would have been Wooden Spooners by a country mile. But because they got those players, that's enough I still think bottom 4, but it's enough to be safe from the Wooden Spoon. And just to your point...
And enough to keep Flanagan a job, I reckon.
Yeah, most likely. And I think the Dragons might be that team a few times throughout 2025, sort of to your point, as you said, where... they'll lose 36-24 or something, right? They'll score points, but they're gonna leak plenty of points, I think.
As an overall, I think you're going to find the Wooden Spoon will be within 8 points of the top 8.
I think so too. I think this will be the closest. I know we say it a lot.
That's bold.
But I think this will be a really rough year for. There'll be some unlucky.
There's going to be teams getting turned over by the team running last.
But you know what this Dragons team will do, and you know sometimes some teams just turn up and randomly play like shit. The Roosters will turn up one day and play like idiot. This team will beat them because Gutho and Cook are too good to not beat them. They'll be in the contest and blah blah blah. Very interesting because in another time we'll just gone rubber stamp Wooden Spoon, but. Super interesting, as this whole NRL comp seems to be this year.
I can't find a Wooden Spoon, to be honest.
Rightio, up next, Barnes, stick your hand in there and find us some things.
Here we got the Roosters.
The Chookies. Last year, Scotty, good friend of the show, suggested that Cheese will be Hooker of the Year. Damo, top 2. Kenny B said they'll be the Premiers. GT said the Smiths, Quinella for performances of the year. Brandon and Billy to both be stars in the team of the year.
No.
Yes.
Danon, they lose the grand final to the Broncos. Teddy to not play Origin and will finish in the top 2 on the back of picking up wins through Origin with Teddy playing. So half a point there, Danon. And the Cheese will be fit and firing. I said Swali will backflip on Union and accept the millions at St George. And that Jared Warrior-Hargraves will inadvertently start a fight with a UFC contracted fighter in Vegas to start the season.
He didn't get to go over there.
No, he didn't make it. Barnes said they just scrape into the 8. Sia Wong will be offered a large extension. Is that right?
They didn't just scrape into the 8.
No, but did Sia Wong get it offered a large extension?
I don't think. Not that I've
He's
heard.
still there, isn't he?
He's still there, but
Okay.
I don't know if it was like
indiscriminate.
A large,
Billy
Pretty
Smith.
sure he got an extension.
He did. Yeah. Billy Smith to leave. Joey Manu, Player of the Year. Angus and Satili to leave, half a point. And JWH to start at least 20 fights. Look, Barn, I reckon you got to about 16, if I'm being fair. Ollie, Roosters, and he wrote in one of your cameo write-ins, said that they would be top 4 purely because there's no expectations this year, and that always bodes well for teams in the NRL. They finished 3rd.
Third, correct.
So a big tick for you, Oliver, as you should try to defend your title. Rightio, who wants to go first here?
I think they'll be bottom 4 coming into round 10.
Okay.
I think they're going to struggle a lot without Walker in the side. The halves combination will be all over the place to begin with. Brandon Smith will be gone by the end of the season. Would not be surprised if he's at a different club before the end of the year. Angus to continue his trajectory. I'm going to give him second row of the year. Dellingham second row of the year. I think he wins that quite easily. We've heard from our resident Roosters expert here that Robert Toa is apparently going to be the Rookie of the Year, but I'm not completely interested in that. But apparently...
so Steve Chester, for the record, is pretty good. Robert Toa Rookie of the Year.
Yep. Connor Watson, again, to be in and around that New South Wales squad. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a crack in the interchange for 2 out of the 3 games for New South Wales.
I'm going to say that the minute Cheese is fit, he's going.
Okay.
I don't think they do it while he's injured, but the minute he's fit, he'll be somewhere else. I tried to think of where, and I can't really give you an answer.
Parramatta'd be my best bet.
I think that's a fair bet. I mean, he's already burned his bridge with Souths or with Bennett back in the day. I don't think he's going north. So
Team that needs a hooker more than anybody else would be Parramatta, in my opinion.
And Riles has a connection. Makes a lot of sense. Very good. I'm going to say Mark Nawakatizi, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, lovely.
The question was asked, centre or wing? I guess it has to be centre, but he looks like a player. I think he's going to be fine.
It does.
He's in direct competition with his centre counterpart, apparently. And I'm going to say they missed the 8, and for the first time in a while, given how much Uncle Nick has the media strings, but I reckon for the first time in a while this year, Robbo's position actually gets questioned in mainstream media. Ollie.
I'm going to say missed the top 8 as well. I had to sort of get specific with this one for the Roosters, and this will be one to check back on next year's bowl prediction show. So I've got them in that hunt for the 8, but missing the 8. So what I'll say is they will not win or lose more than 2 games in a row at any point in the season. So I don't think this is bold. They're not going to go on a losing run. They're not going to go on a winning run. They're going to be that team that's sort of up and down. Look, I think there's plenty of times where they'll lose back-to-back games, but then they'll win, and I think it'll just not be enough.
They don't have a great
to
draw
make the
either.
finals. I know, so this is why it's kind of it's a bit out there. But then again, it's supposed to be bold. I've not added it to my notes, but we talked about Brandon Smith. I don't think he leaves before the end of the season unless the Roosters can work out some deal to get Robson there early, which I don't think they will. But I do believe, and this will be
and
for
it won't be like for like because he said he's not going.
Yeah. So I don't think Cheese leaves before the end of the season, but I do think the team that will be signing him for 2026 announces it quite early in 2025, but we'll get there.
Danon said that they missed the 8. He seems to think you can find $26 somewhere for them to miss the 8, and that sounds like an incredibly good bet. I don't know if that's right. He's a bit drugged up, but that's what his message said. So if that is the case, that's a fantastic bet, everybody. Ollie, stick your hand into the mint.
Oh, I got it the wrong way around. Oh, but it's still the same team either side. It's the Sharks.
The Sharks. Alrighty, last year, the Sharks, which come after the Canberra Raiders and the Canterbury Bulldogs, I said Connor Tracy will cement the fullback spot. Well, he did at another club. And Barney asked what the hell I had against Bubba Kennedy. Well, 12 months on, how you feeling?
Yeah, not so good.
I said the lack of middle will also lead to an SOS to Paul Vaughan. Yes. Barnes said Brayley will end up the top tackler in the competition. Let me just check that, actually. That's
probably not far off.
It'd be very close.
He is close, but I can't remember who is. If he's not. Just resetting here. As that refreshes, I will. Here we go. Most tackles was Reed Marnie, 1,146. Blake was second, 1018. Hazelden to be full-time starter by round 6. And Rudolph to Dolphins. Moylan to England. Nico to release a hair product range named Why Is My Hair So Wet? And Cam McGuinness to finish the season as club captain. Is that the case? Give you half a point at the end there. Danon. 5th to 8th finish because I have a slow start. Nico will be in the Dally M finish again. And Ronaldo will be the leading try scorer for the NRL. GT, massive improvement in discipline for the year. Well, ish. And what else did he say here? C. McGuinness will be arrested in the off-season for tackling random blokes in the streets.
Yeah,
close.
give it to him.
Unconfirmed.
Confirmed, but we can't confirm
anything that moves anywhere
claims.
near him, he tackles.
Yeah. Good man. I am going to... Well, I may as well go first. I haven't done it yet. Nico will finish the season at fullback.
Okay.
He's going to be my bold prediction as the full-time fullback. And I say that Sam Stonestreet is a full-time first grader by, let's say, round 15. There's my couple because they don't have a lot else
Who's
here.
he booed out?
Good question.
Katoa goes, you reckon?
Katoa. Santa's doing a good job. You were very much big on Cade Dykes last year. I suppose he's back in the mix too.
Yeah, coming off an ACL, I don't really like to predict anybody coming back off from an ACL.
How are you thinking?
Apparently, there's a young fella come from the Penrith Juniors, Ison. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up as the full-time fullback by the end of the season. Kennedy really looks like he's on his last legs, and he looked like Peachy reincarnate 18 months ago, but now he's well and truly gone. Adding Fanua Blake by the year. I think Blake Brayley is Dally M hooker of the year. Okay. And that comes off the back of Adding Fanua Blake and mine. There's a stat floating around wherever Brayley had more than 4 runs a game, the Sharks won. I know they won a lot of games last year, but there's a bit of something there that says that I'd be very surprised if he's not taking dummy half darts off the back of Adding Fanua Blake busting through the line. So.
Surely he only has to go back and watch Wade Egan at his best in that combination, whether it's crash play, whether it's off there and as a template. We are now sort of 3 years down the road of us all predicting Blake Brayley to be the best hooker in a game. Is he on the right path?
He's right up there. Well, second in tackles. You saw him play a bit of 7 there when Nico was out, even though he was basically just tackling at 7. But he was setting up a lot of their plays coming out of dummy and a half. I think he's a very intelligent number 9, and I think if he gets a little bit of go forward, which I think I expect Fanua Blake to provide that extra bit of go forward that they didn't have last year, I can see him really taking a tear there, yeah. Dally M hooker of the year for Blake Brayley.
Dane is predicting them to win the comp. So there's that. Oh. Ollie, you're looking very distressed.
Yeah, the reason why I dropped my head during your prediction is because I said Nico moved to fullback by the end of the season, and I thought that was my little smart prediction there, but apparently not, because you also predicted it. The other one, not really as bold, because it seems to be the case with the Sharks every year. So I've got them finishing 5th. And I said they will not beat a single top 4 team at any point during the season. That's become a little bit of a theme with Cronulla, where they're at a certain level where they just can't beat the teams that are above them in the comp. And
they
in
beat
the end,
them all
they usually
Penrith last year.
Did they? Well, there we go.
They beat everyone in
maybe
the top 8.
Maybe it is a bold prediction, but I remember there's at least been a couple of years there where the teams above them they just haven't been able to beat, and I think that's the case in 2025.
Well, there was only Roosters, Melbourne, and Penrith above them last year, and they beat Melbourne and the Roosters back-to-back weeks, and then got absolutely smoked by Penrith.
That's right. They put a complete job on them. We have final word. Where are they finishing?
5th.
Top 4.
4-5, I think. Cowboys. I pulled out next. There it is. Cowboys. Last year, I said Jake Clifford to be starting 7 by year's end, and Townsend to be either pensioned off or accepting a coaching role. Luciano Leilua will be the highest scoring back rower in the game in Supercoach. Oh. Didn't happen, and he didn't finish the season at the club. Drinkwater, a season to forget from GT. Peter Hiku, most planted player of the year, leading to us renaming the award after him. And is he even still around, Peter Hiku?
I'm sure he's still alive, if that's what you're asking.
I hope he's doing well. Danon, bottom 4 and Peyton sacked. And Townsend out of the season in Super League. Barney said Chad to be moved on. Nano to have a poor season. Well, he didn't have the best season, but he was serviceable by the back end.
In and around Origin, but even in Origin, he was well out of his depth in Origin.
Luciano, Player of the Year.
At St George.
And Val Holmes will go to market.
No, he didn't go to market. He went to the Dragons.
He got picked up in the market.
What's the thing? The 3 little pigs go to market. What's that thing? Wiggity, wiggity all the way home or something? Anyway. Yeah. All right. I'll go first. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I thought of that.
I'm sorry. I ruined everything.
I think the Cowboys missed the 8 convincingly.
Oh.
It's my bold prediction. I reckon they're in a lot of trouble. They've lost, obviously, injuries haven't helped. But I am going to say Tom Dearden will score the most tries by half in the NRL. That's my bold prediction. Yep. Do you have anything else to add? No, that was it.
Barney?
Yeah, well, they're going to struggle to provide points here by the looks of it, because you're looking at that back line, apart from Dearden and Drinkwater, they're going to have to combine for a lot of tries to get these guys enough points to win games. Bateman will end up without a club again by the end of the season. He'll
annoy more people.
He'll piss people off. Probably end up in a fist fight with Peyton.
This time it'll be because of the heat.
That'd be a fight.
End up in a fist fight with Peyton before the end of the season. I really don't think he'll put up with his shit. I'd be very surprised if he's around round 16, round 18. Okay. Be very surprised if he's still at that club. I think Nanai will have a kickback season. I think he'll be right back up there in the top back rowers, and probably I reckon he'll be man of the match in at least one State of Origin game.
Nanai?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We because who they're missing? They're missing. Lukey's gone. Mm-hmm. Tamala will be right at some point, but he's had surgery, and the other back rower.
He's 1 million years old.
The other back rower, who I've just had the mental break.
Bateman's now apparently
Finufuaki was he?
Yeah, Finufuaki. He's still in the extended bench, isn't he? No, he's gone as well. Yeah. So.
I am tipping Tom Dearden to win the Dally M medal.
Wow.
And I will also the Dally M medal.
Yeah, that one.
And I will also say that, actually, kind of close to Barney's prediction there. I think Jason Taumalolo and Todd Payton will punch on at a press conference at some point during the year. There's been all this pent-up frustration apparently for the last 5 years that we've heard rumours of. I think it all comes to a head at some point at a press conference.
Is it unprovoked? Like, is Payton just sitting there at Taumalolo just walks in with a steel chair?
It'll probably be after they lose to Canberra or St George in a game that they should have won, and then it'll all come to a head. They'll be sitting there. This is presuming that Taumalolo is the captain for a game, because they'll be sitting there together at the press conference, and someone will ask a question or one of them will just say something that just sparks the other, and it's like, right, I've had all I can stands and I can't stands no more, and they just, maybe it'll be Peyton going at him, I don't know, but something's got to give, and it will give in 2025.
Where they finish?
I think 6th or 7th. I still think they make the top 8. Yeah.
Well, if he wins Dally M, yeah.
Well, that's
Tom
it.
I'm best player in the comp, if he has
to be honest, I'm partly backing this, and I know it's hard, but off of his series for Australia, where he just was like the best player in the world. And again, we're going bold. I'm going a bit bold here.
Absolutely, yeah.
At one point late last year, and I wasn't really paying too much attention to the teams. I sort of had him in my top 4, just because I don't know. And we spoke about it off air. There is a big gap here between teams where from about 5th to 14th, there really could be some leeway. So I do think the Cowboys still make the top 8, and it'll be largely carried by Tom Dearden, because Taumalolo will get sacked halfway through the year for punching on with his coach, apparently. So, yeah.
This is not the show to tell everyone we're fuckwits. We'll do that in the proper prediction show.
Well, I already am, so.
Yeah, but they've lost Felt Holmes now as their top try scorers. Yeah, big year for Tom Dearden. That'd be
a very big year for Tom Dearden.
That's cool. The Knights came out next.
Oh, Robson to fall out of the top 5 for the Cowboys. No, yeah. I've done it, but I think Robson's going to regress pretty poorly.
Yeah, I thought I had that look too. And Carl Horton's there,
And I think they finish at least 2 spots out of the 8, 10th or lower.
Well, I think they miss. I reckon bottom 4. Knights are next, and there's not a lot of optimism around them, I reckon, from some of us, but we'll get there. Last year, though, Ollie said they'll miss the 8 and fall off a cliff.
They made the 8.
They made the 8. They did too.
How's that button present for you?
Do you want to do it? Scotty missed the 8. Damo missed the 8. Daggy said Brayley will top the NRL tackle count.
One of them nearly did.
One of them finished second, but didn't play enough games. Hetherington will head to the Dogs or the Dragons. And one of the celebrities will head to them as well. So I guess half a point. Barney, D. Lucas to secure the second rower spot and be the most improved player in the comp. Didn't quite get there. Marzu, top try scorer and tackle bust for the whole comp.
I think he had the tackle bust. I
I
don't
think
think
he
he had
did.
the
I'll be able to tell you right now. Fox Sports,
tries,
courtesy of
but I'm pretty sure he had the
Fox
tackle
Sports Lab in front of me. James Tedesco,
Oh,
167.
Tedesco. Wow.
2-0, 161. Marzu was 6 of 124.
There you go.
Desai Feedy can go. Yep, well, that's right. Cogger will be starting full-time by halfway through the season with Gamble out.
He started one game, I think.
Well, someone just disappeared off the feed.
He
didn't
just fucking swapped his halves every second game.
Yeah, I
Coach got
can't tell you. We've made a few predictions around halves, and
First coach sack this year.
you said they'd scrape into the 8 and that Tyson Frizzell would win man of the match in a game with a limb attached solely by tape. And I reckon it's pretty bloody close. So I'll give
he
you
probably
one for
did that 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, there was definitely at least one where he scored a couple of tries.
With his knee strapped on.
Yeah,
with some
he
tape.
couldn't walk. I think it was against the Tigers. No, I think it is. Anyway, Danon, they'll make the 8, and Ponga will be Dally M fullback of the year. GT said Ponga would medically retire this season due to his head. So a bit going on. Danon said they'll be the last team in 2025 to actually win a game.
Ooh.
I think they got a rough draw, and O'Brien will be sacked. The Ruck Infringement Podcast have suggested they'll be wooden spooners. You can go first, Ollie, for the rest.
I will say they finish in the bottom 4, not wooden spoon, but bottom 4. O'Brien gone by season's end, unless Kalen Ponga literally becomes the best player in the comp and dominates every game for half a season, then probably top 8 and it's all hunky-dory, which Newcastle are a team where I feel like because, and we've seen it probably the last 2 seasons where they have actually snuck into the top 8, it's been off the back of Kalen Ponga having an absolute purple patch of form and the rest of the side sort of rising with that. Now you've got standout players as well, like your Bradman Best as well last year. I don't want to take anything away from them, but honestly, it's the same story with Newcastle it has been the last couple of years. It looks pretty ordinary. We're probably going to tip them to finish lower down the ladder, as we did last season, as I did here. But if Ponga just goes for an absolute purple patch, then it's proven it can scrape them into the top 8. However, I don't think that happens. Bottom 4 and O'Brien gone by the end of the season.
Yeah, rinse and repeat there. I'll go with both of those. But I'm going to have Kalen Ponga in the top 3 for the Daily M. I just think he is that good when he's on that he's going to pick up those 6 points, and there's going to be nobody else anywhere near him. Fletcher Sharp, top try scorer for Newcastle.
You motherfucker.
Quite easily. I've got concerns about Brayley. I'd be surprised if he plays more than 10 games again.
Cheese can move to Stockton Beach or something.
Quite possibly. But, his body just keeps failing him. And, I think he's could be lucky to play more than 10 games this year.
I'm going to go one step further and say Fletcher Sharp will be the leading try scorer in the comp.
Beautiful.
That's bold. Even given he's not necessarily guaranteed of a first grade, I suppose he will be, but they've got Marzu and Old Mate in the wing as well. And on the back of, and that'll be on the back of, I guess, Gago and Sharp having their best hope is their back line. They don't have a halfback. They don't have a hooker. Yeah, so I reckon the outside backs do the work, and Fletcher Sharp is something special. So let's go with that. And I'm going to go really bold and say Phoenix Crossland will get a proper haircut this year.
Bottom 4.
Bottom 4 for me as well.
But they have enough forwards to maybe get them out of that position. But
It's that thing. It's that whole thing. It's like the best forward packs don't finish last, do they?
Brisbane.
Okay, up to the Bronx, where we all were certainly very wrong about this one. Danon, they win the comp in Ezra Carrigan Clive Churchill medal. That prediction went off the road. Most dominant side in the comp. Daggy, Tristan Saylor will be a permanent fixture in the 17. Carrigan will be anointed as the Queensland Origin captain. And Jesse Arthur's 20 tries. I think he scored like 6. But anyway, GT, Saylor top 17. Top 2 finish but don't win. And Flegler missing means Piacora will become a top flight forward. Barn said that Ezra Mann will receive 3 big offers from the open market. I don't know if the market or the legal system is what that counts for. Walsh will get a massive upgrade, 900 to $1 million plus. And Cobbo to play centre and be the top try scorer for the side also did not happen. What else we got here? Stags will play Origin. Anything for us, Ollie?
Yeah, so I will say Selwyn Cobbo to spend a period in reserve grade, and Kevin Walters to go on a podcast to talk about how he hates the Broncos board because they dared to criticise him when the club was doing poorly. Now, this is not confirmed or anything. I did read this in a couple of articles when he got sacked. Apparently...
It's already happened.
Well, no, apparently when...
Oh, sorry, it might have been Kerrod.
Yeah, I don't think it was Kevin. I'm talking about Kevin Walters here. I read in a couple of articles, I'm not sure how true it is, but if this is true, apparently when the Broncos were playing well, he would chat to the board about all the great things that was going on, and he had a great relationship with them. Apparently when the Broncos were doing poorly, he would receive negative feedback and apparently just not talk to them. That is apparently the case. So if that's true, Kevin Walters goes on a podcast this year to talk about how he hates the Broncos board because they dared to criticise him when the club was doing poorly.
Well, Gordy did it. Gordy's already done it.
No. Well, this is why it's bold. Kevin Walters himself will have to go on the podcast. And hey, Kevy, if you're free,
Hello.
hey, if you like.
I'll be in Brisbane in about 36 days' time, Kevy. We'll catch up.
Katoni Stags to come down south. I've got a feeling it'll be Newcastle. I don't know why, but I've got a feeling Katoni Stags ends up at Newcastle by the end of the year. I've got a feeling Payne Haas is going to agitate for a release again and not want to be a part of this Brisbane system going forward.
It's a weird one, Haas, because he's always either super happy or wants out. There's no in between with anyway.
And I think by bringing Ben Hunt to the team, they're going to lose one of their strongest prospects coming through in Blake Moser, and he'll also agitate to release and get a starting position somewhere else.
Before I forget, Kirk Galbraith has written in and said that Dragons will make the 8 in 2025. That's just popped up. Good luck, Kirk. I'm going to say, alternatively, Billy Walters will be moved on by around that June deadline time because they'll realise once the comes back, they need to get Moser and Ben Hunt needs a spot ultimately. So I'm going to say Billy Walters becomes surplus to needs there, and Madge will just be like,
yep.
And I'm going to say, starting the season with Hunt and Reynolds, they're going to look for more of an aerial-based game than they have done in the past. There's a lot more of the, kick and hopes than we've seen from Brisbane, which will suggest that Colwell becomes a bit more on the outer and that Jesse Arthurs becomes back into action because I think he's probably the best of their aerial threats. And he'll get 12 or more tries. And also under the Madge system, I think the couple of blokes we've been hoping for a couple of years, the back rowers, Piacora and Hetherington, combined for 12 or more tries between them. Short plays, Hunt loves that crush play. I think it's crash or bomb for this Brisbane team for the first 3 months, and then whatever man means after that. So that's what I'm thinking there. I don't even know where to put them. I reckon 8th if they do anything right.
9th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'll go one above. I'll go 7th.
As Ollie pulls out.
The Titans.
The mighty Gold Coast Titans. Where we're going to go to... Here it is. Last year, GT said Randall will be a standout and the top tackler for the whole comp. Let me look at this. He was in the top bit, but...
I don't think
he wasn't top. He definitely wasn't top. Tackles for the record. Yeah, he's down the list. Yeah, he was a long way off. Sam Verrills beat him. All right. Danon said Desi's biggest win of the year will be against Manly in court. And he'll have a bad year. I said Mo will be crowned the unofficial best prop in the game and Dalian prop of the year. And then AJ would leave the club to take $1 million at the Dragons. Barn. Campbell to play at number 6 for 10 or more games. I don't know if they quite got there, but he was close.
Back end of the year, he was the fixture, but yeah, I don't think he got the 10. Looked fantastic too, playing at 6.
He did. Fafita's forearm will be the MVP for the... Tino's forearm will be named Players Player, I should say. And Dave Fafita will score the most forward tries in the comp. Neither things happened. And that I would proclaim my love for Mo at least 15 rounds this year, and that also did not happen. Ollie boldly predicted they would make the top 8 this year. Your turn, Ollie. What are you saying for your mighty Gold Coast side?
I'm not going to be anywhere as near optimistic. I've got one bold prediction, that's it. AJ Brimson or Jaden Campbell to hand in a release request by round 15. They won't leave the club before the end of the season, but maybe in 2026. The Bucks got to stop somewhere. Keanu Kinney's locked in at fullback. One of them's going to be the 5'8". The other one's not going to be in either position and probably not happy that they're not in either position and going to test their worth on the open market and probably going to get signed by a different club for lots of the monies.
Barn?
Yeah, RCG buy of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be fantastic for the Titans, and that'll lead to Tino being named Dally M Prop of the Year. I think
Prop?
Not lock?
Not lock?
No, prop. I
Okay.
think they'll keep him at prop.
And Mo comes off the bench again.
And the Mo comes off the bench.
Right, okay.
I think, Regan ends up probably taking his spot. I think you'll see Randall stay in that 13 position. I think they just, you need that worker in the middle. The McGuinness type mould where he just makes a squillion tackles in the middle of the field. Not holding out a whole heap of hope for these guys realistically, but Cam Pereira, top try scorer.
Again.
Because if they're going to go somewhere, that's where they're going. And if you give him an inch of space, he's going to score. So
I'm going to go with Tino. I agree with you, same thing. But I'm going to say Tino lock of the year,
okay,
being pushed to the back row from RCG.
makes sense. Yeah.
I was going to say he'll be the most owned Supercoach player in round 1 because he's 530 grand.
Okay.
Surely everyone just buys him in front
I
row.
think Jack Bird might be
Okay,
playing at lock. Averages like 60 plus at lock, and he's like 330k. So
save that for another show, but it's my prediction there.
A show that I definitely won't be on.
No, I think they miss the 8 though.
Oh, yeah, I think I've got them bottom 4 again, to be honest.
Canberra,
I think they'll go very close to the 8.
you reckon?
I think they'll be sniffing right at the bottom of the 8.
I'm
You
going to
get
throw one
Tino
more.
back full.
I'm going to throw
fit.
one more bold prediction. I'm going to predict another Kieran Foran hat trick in a game. Voss is calling and he blows his load one more time over the old bludger that got over the line 3 times. I think one more fond farewell for Foran.
I'll watch it 10 times.
You can do whatever you choose. The Raiders, Barney predicted bottom 4.
Bum, bum, bum.
You're 1 year off.
Foggy to head elsewhere at the end of the year. Hopper White, a leading try scorer. And Horsburgh to be a top front rower and a must pick for Origin.
It wasn't even a must pick for the Raiders.
You kept going, actually. Savage would leave. And Ricky Stewart to spontaneously combust at a press conference, which you may have got close to.
Yeah,
And would be sacked, actually. No. I said bottom 4. And at least 2 of the big gun forwards we moved on by the end of the year or want out. Now, Horsburgh did try to leave to go to the Tigers, but they rejected it. I don't think anyone else left, did they?
No.
Whitehead retired. Danon, the media will finally turn on Sticky. And he'll be sacked. And GT said 13th at best.
Nope. Finished 9th, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky to rack up at least 40k of fines.
That's probably correct.
That's probably close. I'll give him that. And Talia said that Rapana can fuck off further, and keep fucking off. Which I suppose he did at the end of the day. I'll go first. Well, first of all, my first thoughts were whatever happened to Hahaya Puru, who debuted from a couple of years ago, but it turns out
He's
he
gone
signed
to
the Sharks.
Yeah.
Only played 2 games. There's maybe a rookie thing. I'm going to say that after a gruelling off-season and some very hard work, Morgan Smithies learns how to offload.
Okay.
Yeah. And that despite getting the wooden spoon, there'll be at least 3 articles from both Fox Sports and News Limited declaring that Ricky has overachieved as a coach this season.
They've already said he's going to be coach of the year. So
They'll get the wooden spoon and somehow he'll be lauded as doing a great job. at the Canberra. I know it's happening, and maybe I should get the award now, but that is my bold prediction, Oliver.
So this is bold. Canberra will win 3 games maximum, and I will say between rounds 18 and 23, the Raiders will put out a statement saying that they have mutually, and for those watching on YouTube, that's in quotes, he'll get sacked. They will mutually part ways with Ricky Stewart at the end of the season, and and the media will talk about how it's such a disgrace to treat a club legend like Ricky Stewart like that after all the years of service at the Raiders, taking them to 1 grand final and many missed final series.
It's an amazing thing that now Ricky's become a parody of himself because of the media have created this world.
I don't like doing it because of the media and everything. Because I'm sure, again, he's a great guy, would be the best coach to have a beer with, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
But there comes a time after 12 years where it's getting to a point now where maybe he'd be a good coach at a different club. Maybe not.
Coach New South Wales.
Yeah, something like that. But I feel like the time at Canberra's past its due date.
Done.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit off the mark, to be honest.
What?
Of those 3
Top 4.
games that they do win, I think Ethan Strange will be man of the match in 2 of them.
Okay.
I won't dispute that.
So your bold prediction is Ethan Strange will be man of the match in 2 games.
We'll go 5.
Okay.
I reckon you get 5 man of the matches
At
by the
centre
end of
or
the year.
half?
2 losing
At
efforts.
6.
Yep.
Yeah, at 6. Hopawade will be their top try scorer by a fair way. KO Weeks will probably not end up at 1 by the end of the year. I know we saw a lot of stuff out of him during the year, but I think he ends up back on the interchange and they find somebody else to take up that 1 position. Probably won't be Savage. I like Tomoko back there, but whether they go there or not, it's a different story. And Jamal Fogarty, most try assists off the boot.
Off the boot.
Ooh.
Okay, I like that.
Can I quickly extend my bold
course you can,
prediction?
'cause I'm going to as well.
I will extend my bold prediction here for the Raiders, and I will say, because it happens every year, 2 of their 3 wins will be against the Titans. I guarantee it. 2 of their 3
One
wins
will
will
be
be
in
against the
Golden
Titans.
Point.
Yeah,
Or in the 3 o'clock game.
yeah, and the other one they'll just flog them.
Yeah. I nearly made him Tomoko top 5 tackle bust for the comp. Let's go with that. All right. Olapadu.
What?
Ollie Peri. Move on. Oliver's dropped his guts off air, but anyway, we're back. And we're going to talk about Manly next. GT last year said that Tommy will miss no more than 3 games and be Dally M medalist. You got pretty close. He didn't miss a great deal, but you were Dally M.
He
Scotty?
missed quite a few.
Luke Brooks to excel and Manly to make the 8. Gump. Luke Brooks top 10 of the Dally M. I can't confirm or deny that, but
Would have been close.
He was close.
If it wasn't rigged.
Wasn't rigged. Danon. Seabold to get sacked around Origin and Brad Arthur to try and coach his son over there. Barney said there will be 17 or more try assists for Luke Brooks, and I did look this up. You got that right. I think it was 21. Garrick, top points scorer for the competition. Bullymore will leave the club. And Jake Turbo to say good 1,478 times in post-match interviews. Now, he didn't captain the New South Wales team, so I'm going to pass that as correct. And maybe a very much close to winning thing. I said that Talau will flourish and score 15 tries this year. I don't think he got to 15, but he had a very good season.
He started on fire.
Yeah. Did he get 15? Let's have a look. I don't think so. I would have noted that. Brooks will be the most owned Supercoach 5'8" in the game at some point for the year.
Well, he was at the start of the year. First 2 rounds, I'm pretty sure he was.
Are we going to give that? Because only because
100%.
because Lockie Galvin very quickly
that
became
was like the first 2 rounds. He was the top.
Very good. I've got one up. But is it big enough to win the comp or to beat Ollie? Don't know. But Lockie Galvin definitely quickly surpassed him. And Todd O'Cooler to be named at 1 ahead of Tommy while Tommy is in the 17. Never happened.
No.
Did it happen?
Yeah, he played centre.
Really?
Cooler played fullback. I mean, first game back from injury.
Did it really? That is a bold prediction, man. Oh, I'm putting myself up there.
Yeah, first game back. He played centre or wing, and Cooler
Played
played
what? Did he really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Go me.
All right, am I kicking us off for this year?
Go on then, Ollie.
Manly top 4, and I am actually confident with this one. I think they finish in the top 4,
Yep.
and I will say Daly Cherry Evans, Dally M halfback of the year.
Oof.
In possibly
Does he play Origin?
his final season. Yeah.
Including playing Origin?
He will play. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I had touch wood here. I don't think he gets injured or suspended throughout the rest of the season, so that's probably 3 games missed. You'd
Yeah.
think. I think
He plays
can
in a
still,
dinner suit anyway.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Dally M halfback of the year, Daly Cherry Evans.
And goes out in style.
Goes out in style. I don't necessarily think...
If they win the comp and he's Dally M, does he retire?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he possibly retires anyway. I think right now,
Nah,
based
he's
off
got
of
another
what
year.
the talk
He
is...
pushed
I don't
for
know,
an
it's
extension,
weird.
didn't he?
I'm not... Well, I think he's got the extension till next year, but he has said that he might hang the
I
boots up
honestly
this year.
thought
So
he would pull out the... If they'd won Origin, I reckon he retires from Origin.
Quite possibly.
yeah.
But they didn't, so,
No, I think he plays another year after this one.
Anything else?
But
That's
Barney.
all.
Luke Brooks, top 2,
Dally M.
number 6, 5'8".
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I think he backs up on what he did again last year. And if
Sorry, that
if DCE is going to be
Okay.
number 1, I think Luke Brooks. I really like what he did last year. They provided opportunity and space, and he decided to run and provide some good ball for his outside backs. I think he can be right up there. I don't have him in the top 4, but I definitely have him in the top 8. It all depends on Tommy, as we all know. Olakau'atu, again, I think Olakau'atu will be in the top 2 as well for back rowers, locks, whatever you... anywhere in the back row.
Yeah.
He'll
2
be
RFs.
He'll be second to Tino.
Okay.
No, Tino's going to be front row, isn't he?
Not if we have our way.
Not if you have your way, that's right. What else have I got here? Jason Saab, top try scorer for the NRL.
For the NRL, very good. I'm going to flip it and go, and don't ask me how he's going to get in the team, but I'm going to say Lehigh Hopper-Wade finishes with the most tries for Manly this year.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure who he surpasses just yet, because he's got some work to do. Well, but god damn, he's a good player, and I'm going to just throw it out boldly there. And I'm going to say top 4. They were the 3 wins outside top 4 last year. I'm going to say they make the top 4. Everyone stays fit. They have a great... fuck it. It's bold prediction day. Top 2.
Top 2?
Top 2 Manly.
If I can top my
You can do it.
top my little bold prediction off here, and
And
this
as
is a bit of a
always,
silly
if
one.
anything drops in your head for other teams
Yeah,
who have done, come back and tell me.
I will say, if it's not Penrith or Melbourne winning the comp, which I'm fairly confident it will be, I say it'll be Manly. But on top of that, if Manly does manage to win the comp this year, our good friend from down the pub here, Johnny, who
Will cost me at least one eardrum.
He is a massive Manly supporter. I say he runs through Warringah Mall nude.
Okay.
I think they finished top 6, and I think Gordon, which we were talking about earlier, ends up unseating Lachlan Croker in dummy.
Yeah, well, Carl Lawton's gone, so he's going to get a bit more first grade, isn't he?
Melbourne.
The Storm are up next. Who have we not done? We've got Dolphins up our sleeve, Panthers up our sleeve, a few others. But Storm is next. Last year, Gump and Action both predicted that they will miss the 8. Damo said out in the final, we'll make the finals but out in straight sets. GT, Justin Olam to have a career year. And there'll be a still photo come out of him, of a centre running at him looking terrified. I don't know, did we get one of them at the Tigers?
I'm not sure, but he did.
He did try to murder a few people when he was at the Tigers.
He did run over the top of a few people.
He did also have a year in his career, so we got to give that. Just at the wrong club.
He did have that. I said Fa'alonga will be the permanent number 1 by the end of season.
Year too early.
And that for the first time in Belair's career, they will run 9th. Barn. Meany will move on. Pappenhausen will be their top try scorer. Olin will be given permission to leave the club at the end of the year, by the end of the year. And at some point, Bellyache will threaten Cameron Munster's life with a chair. And I asked...
A steel chair?
I asked which end. I believe you replied something like this, the pointy one. Danon, though, top 2 finish. Wouldn't have all written them off. And that Jerome Hughes will be the one to drag them there, being the Dally M medalist and the next Kiwi superstar will drag them to a top 2 finish. And I assume Daggy, but we'll never know.
It's not as good as the Tigers board design.
Well, we've got to get to that because it is quite interesting, that prediction. Let me just pull up the leading try scorer for all them. But, Ollie, you may have a crack at the Storm.
I'm going to actually touch on a couple of the predictions you guys made for last year, for this year, for my bold prediction. One, I think they win the comp. I'm going to say they win the comp.
It's interesting because I try to avoid it, but there's a few bold predictions last year I wanted to revisit.
Yeah,
but go on.
I think Melbourne win the comp, and now this one's going to be a bit of a knock-on effect. So, Logo to be the starting fullback for most of the season. Now, I'll be honest, it's a bold prediction, but with the contract that Melbourne offered Pappenhausen, the extension, where it's a lot less than he was on,
obviously coming.
And they basically said to him, hey, you're not going to be our fullback anymore. I don't know really how bold that is because I think it's sort of writing on the wall. I think it happens this season, though, but there's a knock-on effect. So Logo to be the starting fullback for most of the season, that pushes Pappenhausen out to an edge, which I think leads to Nick Meaney making a mid-season move to a new club. And I will say to Nick Meaney, over the off-season, I went to Surfers Paradise in the Gold Coast area. It's beautiful. Nice beaches, nightclubs, if you want to go to the night.
It's better than Melbourne, let's be honest.
Yeah, just think about it, Just think about it.
For what? To replace AJ? You've already tipped to go somewhere else?
He's just a good player, so I'd have him at the Tigers.
Fair enough. For the record, Warbrick 15 tries. Pappy actually ended up with 13 tries, second on that list.
And played half a season.
And only played half a season. As I said, interestingly, they've still got 4 spots in their top 30. I'm going to say, I'll go next. Jack Howarth will make his Origin debut for Queensland this year. Is that bold enough for everyone?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to say Stefano finishes the season as the most expensive prop in Supercoach. And Ryan Pappenhausen, I've tipped 2 of these. I've sort of doubled down, actually. Dally and fullback of the year.
Okay.
And Vossi will sound the alarm at least on 5 different occasions, which always makes me happy.
100%.
There's 2 things that make me happy in life. It's him sounding the alarm or Dan Ganane saying goodbye.
So
after I was against Dan Ganane.
26 rounds?
26 rounds, 5 alarms?
26 rounds. Munster have played less than 13 games
right,
for the season.
Yep.
Again,
Does
once
he play
the body
Origin?
starts going, it starts going.
With or without Queensland?
No, I think he misses out in Queensland as well. I think he's going to have a big stretch.
If he does
the middle
that,
of the year,
does Ryan Pappenhausen become the number 6? Leading to Fa'alongo being 1?
100%. I was going to say Jerome Hughes Dally-M, but he did it last year. So, yeah.
But that is bold because when was the last back-to-back?
Elise Katoa
Thurston,
to score the most tries from a forward. Quite comfortably as well. I think he'll do it by a stretch of 4 or 5 tries. I just think he's been their go-to for the last 12 months, and they're going to keep going there. So,
on the back of us all tipping it and missed the 8 last year, do they make the top 2 this year?
I think they finished 6th.
I mean, I've got them winning the comp, so I've got them finishing first.
3rd or 4th.
Okay.
What have you got in your hand there?
I've got the 4-time defending premiers, the Penrith Panthers.
God damn the Panthers.
Alrighty, which means we've got Parra up our sleeves and Dolphins up our sleeves. Alrighty. Panthers, last year, Cracker, of all people, hope he's doing well, said that Nathan Cleary's chin will fall off after it smacks into his shoulder following the weight of expectation on top of all league fans. Oh, gosh. I've just changed my sounds there. Anyway, Cromie said they'd miss the 8. I said that Taylor May would return and score 15 tries, and that Jerome Luai would sign elsewhere for 2025.
Oh, well.
Oh.
But I did add it may well be north of the border. I'll give it a tick because it's me. Barney, T May comes back and becomes leading try scorer and also suggested that Luai would be leaving the club. Tito Taruva would take big money elsewhere. Fuck, you've had a run, bum. Ivan will buy a McDonald's just to save him have to buy Nathan a Happy Meal each and every week.
Hey, he could probably afford one now.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's one in his portfolio.
he
Probably
got-
Emu Plains is sitting
But
there, isn't it?
honestly, didn't he got on a Forbes list or something for like richest people in Western
Would not
Sydney?
be surprised
so,
if he's got a couple
yeah.
in that portfolio of his.
Yeah.
I think I said something like I assume they'll just give him the Panthers one anyway. GT, that on less than 6 occasions, I would refer to death by 1,000 cuts, which I think, or deeper water. And Crystal Harley tipped them to make the grand final. Danon said they will miss the top 4, but then lose the grand final qualifier. Nathan Cleary will captain New South Wales and lead them to lead them to a 3-0 win, finally throwing the hoodoo off his back and coming of age at rep football, which is a particularly un-Danon-like thing to say, but he was quite positive there. The Ruck Infringement Podcast for this year, we're moving on to this year, has said that they will miss the top 4. I am going to say, I've got a couple. Lindsay Smith will play Origin. Not that, how bold, he did play for Australia, but I reckon he'll make that bench. And I'm going to say that Isaiah Papa'i, back rower of the year, and will score at least 12 tries, running off Cleary with that short ball, getting back to what he used to do the best at Parramatta. I think Cleary, Papa'i, spoilers for Supercoach show, snap him up at 500. He'll be back this year. Will the ice, Barn?
Isaiah Yo, Daggy M, Player of the Year. Top 3 Dalian Player of the Year. It's not extremely bold, but the bloke's just an absolute machine. Casey McLean to play more than 13 games and be Penrith's top try scorer. I
did look at Jesse as Rookie of the Year, but it's a hard team to get into as well.
100%.
Yeah. I think, Jesse's the younger one, isn't he? Yeah.
Casey's the younger one.
Which one's already played a fair bit?
Jesse's played more than Casey. Yeah.
One hasn't played 5 yet. Whichever one's eligible is half a chance.
Moses Leota to sign with the New Zealand Warriors to go with his mate
Yeah, fish.
over there next year.
Wow, that is bold.
I am going to say, and this is partly because he's going to start the season injured and going to be playing from the back foot when he comes back. Blaze Talangi to ask for his release by season's end after Jack Cole impresses at 5'8" while he is out and ends up locking down the position for himself.
Wow. Anything else for Penrith?
They'll lose to Melbourne in the grand final.
Where do they finish on the ladder? Where do they finish?
Second.
4th.
Yeah, I think 4th. Right, I guess I better go back to me pouch. Not many left.
The pouch-like structure.
The Finns. Last year, we said talk amongst yourselves. Gump, they'll make the 8. Scotty will finish higher than the Broncos in the top 8. They didn't finish higher than the Broncos.
Dolphins?
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Broncos
half.
were 12th, Dolphins were 10th.
Yeah. Gaz said top 6. Kenny B and Pat both said top 4. Action Bailey, Max Plath, Rookie of the Year, which would have happened but for one L. Galvin. And I'm sure you could argue either or, but Lockie Galvin won it. But I reckon that's a great call.
It was.
What a player.
From where he came from to where he finished the year, yeah, absolutely. Massive.
Danon said they'll finish 9th and be in the top 8 for a large chunk, but can't hold on. Yep.
Very close.
Ben Hunt will be... they'll go... Ben Hunt will end up there.
No.
Was the other thing? I said Herbie, signing of the year and breakout star, perhaps at fullback. Was he signing of the year? I suppose S. Crichton probably has to pip him, but he's in the top
Herbie's
3.
right up there.
Wasn't a bad signing by any stretch of
Very
the
He's in the top,
imagination.
I'm going to give myself a tick. In the top 3.
Absolutely.
Flegler standout and club captain by the end of the year. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get to see that pay out. Barnes said 20-plus tries for Herbie, but wouldn't shock me this year. Both Bromwiches to retire or end up in England. Flegler signing of the year, as again, injury Katoed that. And that Katoa, Bostock and Ray Stone will all be moved on. Missed that one, Mum.
Not surprising.
Oh, you've got more. Hang on. Jerry Marshall King, hooker of the year. Well, injury didn't help. And Bennett to dance into the press conference to Stone Cold Steve Austin's entrance music. GC said that Bromwich and Cattell will be gone, and Harley said that Dolphins will face Penrith in the grand final to send Bennett into retirement. I'll open up, and I'm going to say Isaiah Katoa will lead the competition in kick meters this year. There's one for you. And I'm going to say Herbie, on the back of last year, being close to by the year, 12 tries and 12 try assists. This is Herbie's year, I think. Although he'll be a marked man, we've got to go bold. And I'm going to go with those two. Ollie?
I think Bostock gets the NRL top try scorer.
Okay.
And I will say that the Dolphins will announce the signing of Brandon Smith for 2026 by round 10. Not necessarily to play at hooker, but maybe.
Maybe you shouldn't either. Barn.
Going to push Plath out of 13. Oof. Okay.
Oh.
Hamaso, top try scorer by a mile for the Dolphins.
Playing at centre?
Playing at fullback. I don't think anyone usurps him at fullback there for the Dolphins. Cody Nikorima to end up out of the squad and possibly out of the NRL by the end of the season.
Yeah, the only other place you end up would be back at South with Bennett, I reckon.
Yeah, and Jeremy Marshall King will be second on the Dally M Hooker of the Year
To Has?
to Blake.
Okay, yeah.
Austin.
What a man. All right, the last, and for no
Least.
reason, and least, Parramatta. Eel Lee predicted, good man. I hope you're doing well, Eel. I haven't heard for a bit, but we haven't done a show for a bit, so that makes a lot of sense. We did predict them to make the grand final. Barn, Dylan Brown, Dally M, 6 of the year. Jermaine Hopgood will sign a 4-year extension. I think he did sign an extension. It was 4 years.
I don't know if it was 4 years, but I think he'll be there for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And Penasini and RCG will go to market. I'll give you one for RCG. 7+ players to be moved on.
Absolutely.
And the NRL's greatest Sook award to be awarded to Gutho and Moses as a combined award. I'm fine with that. I'll get Trev's thoughts in a minute. GT, BA to be sacked, hung, drawn and quartered. I said Wiremu Greg will get a starting prop spot ahead of RCG or Paulo. Now, I think it did happen on occasion, but I don't think it was full-time.
No, it wasn't full-time, but it did happen.
Gutho will be an integral part of Madge's New South Wales rebuild, much to the chagrin of Panthers fans. And we will officially name the pop planner word the SIVO. Although that was very
No, give
bloody
yourself
close
a tick for that.
Yeah, well, he's not employed anymore. so-
Farewell, my king.
Man, I've had a pretty good run here. All right, Danon, Brad Arthur to be sacked, but that's standard. I think it was just on repeat.
Hasn't he tipped that every year for the last 5 years?
Yeah. Paulo and/or RCG to be moved on.
Yep.
Sivo moved on. And one of the big three, Gutho, Moses or Brown, will not be at the club come 2025.
Yeah.
I think Danon must be defending his title this year. Or picking up yours. Because he's had a very good outing here. Parramatta, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
Say Iyongi to be Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gets an extended spot there in the fullback position, and if he plays more than half the season, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't end up a Penrith Junior for all those Panthers fans out there that are going to scream and yell the house down. But, yeah, Rookie of the Year, say Iyongi. Penasini to be moved on by the end of the year. I'm pretty sure they've had enough of him, to be honest. At the moment, he does a lot of good things, but he has a lot of brain snaps in and around that as well. And 3 of this forward pack, Offahengawi, Paulo, Lane, Cartwright, Hopgood, 3 of those will be gone by the end of the year.
I've just realised there's still one team to go after the Eels, but anyway, we'll get to them when we draw it. We'll get to them when we draw them. Don't spoil it now.
No.
There is still a team to go.
All right, we'll get there.
Jack Williams to take. Jack Williams to take Sean Lane's
couldn't even
starting
make my
spot by
pouch.
the end of the year.
Jack Williams to take.
Lane's starting spot by the
That's
end of
fair.
the season.
I think they're fucked. I don't think they're going to do well, but I think there's going to be some interesting performances, and I'm going to throw out some bold stuff. Well, first of all, Danon has said Mitch Moses Dally M Player of the Year, so although he needs to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Bryce.
Painkillers are kicking in, big fella.
I'm going to say Bryce Cartwright, New South Wales bench. And I'm going to say Zach Lomax, leading point scorer for the comp.
Okay.
But it might have to be single-handedly there. But they're my two bold predictions. But I don't know how they don't finish. I think they're in and about that 10th, 11th spot.
No, I'm going to
Bottom four.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bottom four, I'm going to say Josh Adokar scores less than 10 tries for the whole season. And I'm going to say by season's end, we will hear... I actually don't know how bold this is, to be honest. And I hate bagging on coaches too much, but I think by the end of the season, we will hear like heavy rumours in the media that the board has turned on Jason Riles, but he won't get sacked because they won't want him to be a one-season coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won't get sacked.
No. They're giving me a year.
Charlie Geimer to be promoted into the starting squad as well by the end of the year.
Absolutely. Is that it?
He's on the development list.
Is he really? No, he'll be full-time because there'll be other clubs taking him, such as Melbourne, who have 4 spots left. What other club do we need, Oliver?
We need the New Zealand Warriors.
The New Zealand Warriors. How did we miss these fine folk?
So the Warriors are probably the only team for me where both, like, my whole bowl prediction for them is just an absolute piss take. So I'm not surprised we forgot about them.
Fine,
But I'll admit that right now.
Well, they haven't been forgotten. They've just been left at the bottom of the
They're just
pouch.
at the bottom of the pouch.
I forgot about
The
them.
Wars. Barney, Curran will leave the squad by season's end. Don't play music.
Count that.
That counts. RTS will drop the try scorers. Mitch Barnett will extend for a few years. Sean Johnson, Dally M. Fanil Blake, 10-plus tries. Let me refresh.
Yeah, he got 10 tries
I
for
reckon
sure.
he did.
He got 10 tries before round 12.
And Andrew Webster to be given the keys to Auckland.
Why did you give that a positive reaction?
No, I mean, Fanil Blake got 8 tries, in fact.
Really?
Yeah, so
Wow.
Danon, Sean Johnson will get injured and retire. No, wait, hang on. RTS will be a gun. Well, how do you grade that? Of course he's a gun. Curran will be gone by Origin. Gump. Warriors will be the 2024 Cowboys and miss the 8. Action, RTS Clive Churchill. Damo will finish 6. Daggy. Wade Egan will play Origin off the bench. Tohu Harris will retire and accept a role as the Prime Minister of New Zealand. GT, they'll miss the 8, and Sean Thompson will play more like Matt Moylan and achieve nothing this year. I'm going to... Interesting... Oh, mate, I'll save you for last because you've hyped yourself up, Ollie. Luke Metcalf, starting 5'8". Hopefully no injuries after a couple of years. And I say 10 tries, 15 try assists for Luke Metcalf. And stamp himself in the top grade. And I say Wade Egan only gets 1 concussion this year, which will be good for him.
Will be very good.
And I'm going to say that Tohu finally accepts that Prime Minister's role and moves on at the end of the year. Danon has tipped them at $15 to win the wooden spoon. Barney.
Wow. Wooden spoon. Yeah, I can't see this team win the wooden spoon.
I'm sort of
but
betwixt and between because I really wanted to go a bit harder and like tip a massive year for Tuapiki, massive year for this, that and the other, and want to see their halves really fire Metcalf and Tamari Martin, but I could also see him running last.
they'll be
so I
the
don't know.
also-rans, but I don't think they'll run last. Luke Metcalf will be the highest purchased 5'8" in Supercoach at some point during the season. He will go on an absolute tear. There's not a lot here, man. If I can look at this team. Mitch Barnett, top 3 props in the game. Dally M-wise.
Dally M, yeah, we need to quantify some of these somehow. Yeah.
Top 3 Dally M prop of the year. Wow. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is the hope of this side. He needs to score that many tries to get them anywhere near anything. Tamari Martin at 7. Wow. James Fisher-Harris, buy of the year. I think I've already said that somebody else will be the buy of the year, but if it's not that person, it'll be James Fisher-Harris, because him and Barnett can absolutely dominate the middle of the field, but they're going to struggle.
Their backs are going to be very sore carrying 11 players.
Oh, Jackson, come on, give Jacko something.
Okay.
Fish, Barnett, Harry,
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say, and I've come up with an actual...
Edward Cossey to be sacked before halfway through the season.
Yeah, cop that, Edward.
Just to stick it in there. I've come up with an actual prediction kind of on the fly here that I was thinking of. I'll say after 5 rounds, they are what the Titans were in 2024. After 5 rounds, they will be bottom of the ladder, and people will be saying they're morals for the spoon, even though they won't win the wooden spoon. And I don't even know if they finish bottom 4. I think they'll have a decent patch at some point during the season, but I think they have a terrible start. Andrew Webster to get so desperate, he starts looking for a half on Wish. With Metcalf, I don't know how it's going to go.
What does he find?
I don't know. Well,
Matt Moylan.
I don't know. Jared Mullen. And
Trent Hodgkinson.
I don't know why it annoys me. It just does for some reason, but I'm going to say they're going to have a poor season. So by the end of 2025, the term WAS will officially be retired, because all I can think of in my head was Warriors fans saying up the WAS during that whole season when they overperformed and they were never actually going to win the comp, and there were no hope of winning the comp, and they got flogged in the finals. I don't know. Like, seriously, what do you say about the Warriors?
You look at this and you go, okay, you can be super optimistic, or you can just have a crack. I'm going to finish on a few first thought in your head questions, but to do that...
You know, around the lovely Grey Gums Hotel here at CFL, any diamonds in the rough in terms of bowl prediction. Gentlemen, Chester, what is your bowl prediction for the 2025 NRL season? Put it all.
I don't know, so going Roosters down the centre, Robbie Toya, I think is that East. Rook Thomas.
Well, Robbie Toya, rookie of the...
Who wins the comp?
To Chester, who's going to win the comp?
Not Penrith.
Not Penrith is looking quite
Chester's
good this year. Bookies
Robbie
odds
Toya,
are quite
rookie of the
good.
year.
We're going to go over to our good mate Trev now. Trev, what's your bowl prediction for 2025?
Penrith won't see a 5, Pete. I'm tipping a Canterbury Melbourne grand final.
Who wins?
Whoever scores the most points on the day.
You can't go wrong with
Don't
that.
call me that. And I've got them up to the grand final. I think Canterbury, Phil Gould. I mean, Penrith supporters always hate Phil Gould, but Penrith they are where they are now because of Phil Gould. But yeah, that's what I would be tipping. I'll be tipping Parramatta to come 7th. I'll be tipping Tigers to come 9th. And last, I would be tipping, if you go on what they've bought, I would be tipping Canberra.
There we go. We got half a ladder prediction here from Trev. Now we're going to go over to our new mate. I'm not quite sure what your name is, old friend. Greg?
Yeah.
Greg, nice to meet you, Greg. Now, what is your bold prediction for the 2025 NRL season?
Being a loyal South supporter, South to finish 8th or 9th.
Your Dally M prediction?
Dally M prediction?
No.
Competition winner.
I'm backing a Melbourne Broncos grand final.
Melbourne Broncos grand final. Taking it back to 2006. All right, back to Daggy.
Rightio. Thanks for Ollie and Barn for that little walkthrough there and the gentleman involved. But, right, okay. I guess we've got to announce a winner of last year's bold prediction show. Ollie?
I'm going to give it to Danon. Not so. I still think my Tigers board dissolving pick is above his Jerome Hughes Dalian medal pick, but I think those two picks combined with consistency throughout the bold predictions made, he overall made more correct bold predictions than I did. So while I don't think his best prediction was better than mine, the overall consistency, the Eels brought him home, I think. So I am happy to concede the title to Danon for this year.
Do we all agree, Barn?
Nah, boldest of the boldest goes to Oliver, in my opinion.
The Tigers sacking? Okay. Wow.
Well-
Split decision.
Captain, no captain.
Honourable mention for you and I, who did quite well along the way. The Brooks most owned Supercoach. Cooler named it 1. Very good. Jake to say 1,478 for you, Barn, is very, very good. I think I'm going to give it to Dane 10-8. 10-8. I think consistency and the para stuff. But any other year, Ollie, you're back to back. But well done, Silver and Dane, and you've picked up the bold prediction for your Melbourne top 2 when everyone else had written them off.
Yes.
Dally M, Jerome Hughes, and their predictions around Parramatta. Very, very good. So congratulations, Danon. Now, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say Danon's reward for getting the bold prediction award is Daggy's going to pay for his back surgery. So that's
Happy
good.
days. Yep.
Yeah.
Just send it to my accountant. Now, very quickly, and just quicker word association because this didn't go that great last year. State of origin,
New South
Cool.
Wales.
New South Wales.
New South Wales. Premiers
Melbourne.
and grand final. Who they beat?
Penrith.
Jesus. Sharks fan. You know, Cronulla.
You do every year. I'm going to go Manly beating Melbourne. Tricky one here.
Cronulla beating the Bulldogs.
Very tricky. Buy of the year.
Shit. By the... Jesus Christ. I'm drawing a blank.
Jay
Come
Luai.
back to me. Oh,
Both of mine were props. I had RCG and Fisher Harris. I'll go Fisher Harris.
I'll just go Luai.
Rookie of the year. Probably too hard this year. And it never ends well.
Aoni and Parramatta for mine. If he gets more than half a season at fullback, it's Aoni.
Yeah.
Parramatta.
No Akatizi if he's eligible. I know how it works. I know you know.
Yeah, well, he hasn't played a game. He's played 2
one
games
game.
and
2 games,
yeah.
So I don't think he officially qualifies, but I'm going to say Carl Olawapu realistically.
No, he still qualifies.
He does? I'll say Olawapu.
You have to play 5 games. He hasn't played 5 games.
Coach of the year.
Craig Bellamy.
I haven't even thought about this stuff.
No, yeah. Fuck. Well, if Sharks are going to win, it's got to be Fitzgibbon.
Seabold. First sacked.
Seabold. Seabold.
First sacked.
Adam O'Brien.
Yeah. O'Brien.
Probably, but Ricky Stewart. Leading try scorer.
Jack Bostock.
What did I have?
I went
I had
Fletcher Sharp.
Bowl point scorer. Yeah, Fletcher Sharp was mine.
Wooden spoon.
Canberra.
Warriors.
Canberra. Daggy M.
I don't think it's going to be my Dally M pick, so I'll say Daggy M. Isaiah, I'll go with Barney.
Tina.
Didn't you just say it was going to be Isaiah Yeo in
That's
your
fine.
prediction?
That's fine.
Yeah.
He's covering both bases.
All right.
It's an each way bet. Gosh, I didn't feel this. I don't know. Scott Drinkwater's first name came to my head, so let's go with that. And Dally M.
Tom Dearden.
Jesus. What did I even fucking say? Dally M. Oh, Jerome Hughes.
You did go Jerome. For the first time in 4 years, you haven't tipped Nico. I will go with
2
Luai.
years.
2
Okay.
years. Jerome Luai, Dally M. Why not? Let's just be broad and brash. Have you got a breakout or return to form star, someone that might be back or burst on the scene and
Well, it has to be Tino. If I'm tipping him to be
comeback of the year, I guess. Yeah.
Tino or Gilbert, Tom Gilbert.
Okay.
He's basically spent 2 years on the sideline, and the bloke is an absolute beast. So if he gets half a season in him, he will kill it.
Luke Brooks to continue his ascent to be one of, if not the best 5'8" in the game.
Comeback of the year will be Isaiah Papi. And let's go with... Isaiah Katoa, breakout star of the year. In and around that origin.
Saroni to Taruva as well.
Yeah.
Don't leave him out. He will be right up in the top of the charts.
Well, if we're giving comeback stars of the year, I've also got to say Tino with Barney because he literally just has to stay fit to outperform literally every other Titans player. So, like,
Exactly.
he's going to stand out.
Lovely. All right. That has been our 2025 Bowl Prediction Show. Anything else you want to finish on?
No.
It's been a pleasure. It's been enjoyable. We'll do this again in a couple of weeks to preview properly the full season, which is our traditional 3 to 4 to 5 hour show, but we'll do some research and actually go team by team and have a feed and really get stuck into it. Then the format after that we'll sort of come back with and hopefully have something each and every week. But thank you, everyone.
We'll get the palatial mansion ready for...
Your place?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we
There you
locking
go.
it in?
Absolutely.
All right.
We'll
Locking
do
it in?
I'll make
We're-
sure it's done.
For the pre-season preview? Done. All right, we're doing... Barney's going to feed us and we're going to have our big
Didn't say I
breakout.
was going to feed you. I was going to host you.
Yeah, true.
Right. Well,
Can we have
I'll bring some corn chips. It'll
can
be
we
fun.
have Jim Carrey's greatest moments playing in the background? Just as a bit of
100% we
nostalgia
can.
for Barney and myself after the last
Well, Sonic
season
movie?
preview show we did
Oh, okay.
at Barney's house,
Yeah, okay. we
which
can
none
do
of
that.
them would know about. But like,
No, that's fine.
that's
but
fine.
we can do that. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll talk to you all very soon.